This is a show about how to figure ourselves out. You know, we all struggle. We all go through stuff, but nobody's talking about it. And so everyone's kind of out there doing it on their own. And that sucks. So I'm basically making a whole bunch of videos, and we can all share what we've been through and what we've learned in a way that can help other people. That's me. When I was a teenager, I thought psychology was so boring. I didn't even know that it could be easier. It wasn't until I started changing my mind that I started understanding what freedom was. The first thing that I think is super important for us to know is, why do we have negative thoughts? Why, when something hard happens, am I thinking, I suck, I'm a loser, I can't do anything, nobody cares about me? Where does that come from? Our minds are a bit like a computer. When we're little, all of these experiences happen, and our mind kind of programs itself to figure out what's going on around us. Those thoughts actually create a pattern in our brain that then stays with us, which means that things that we thought when we were like 3 are still thoughts that come up and we think are true. So I thought it'd be helpful to follow around a little kid so we could get a sense of what I'm talking about. So I rode over to the northern beaches in Sydney and hung out with Tide, who's 3. It was so cool to watch her because it totally helped me understand we don't have logic when we're little. She was just careening around all over the place. Want to do this, want to do that. And that's totally typical of kids her age. It's like instinct. It's just, this is what I want to do right now, boom. And she doesn't really have any idea why, right? When we're in that age, we don't get why anything happens. We can't understand the bigger picture. Why does it spin around like that, Tide? And that's just how kids' minds work. It's all instinct. We don't actually understand anything yet. We can't sit back and go, my parents are super stressed because of their jobs. You know, I know money's tight. Like, we have no concept of any of that. And so you can imagine if our parents yell at us, you're so clumsy. Why did you do that? You suck. All of a sudden, we're like, okay, I guess I suck. And we just internalize that. That's all our mind is capable of doing when we're that age. But there's also this part of our mind that's trying to understand things and figure things out. We need to learn how to walk. We need to learn how to talk. We need to learn how to, open a mailbox. We need to learn all this stuff. So our brain is just kind of like all the time doing that. So the problem comes in when something happens that's hard and we don't have any perspective. Our mind is going, what? Okay, maybe I messed this up. When we look at Tide, when she drops this egg, her mind's like, maybe I should have held it. What should I have done? It's like trying to figure out like what happened here. And so you can imagine if our parents get angry or disappointed or are stressed, or we get negative feedback from people, our mind just basically believes that. So for instance, and Tide decides she wants to climb this tree, which is totally unclimbable.
I don't think I can climb this. I can't just get up here. I can't do it.
Something hard happens, the thought pops up, I can't do it. All of a sudden this link is made in her mind. That's the computer filing system. Hard thing, I can't do it. So luckily for Tide, she's learned that she can ask her mom for help, and her mom will help her.
Mommy, can you please help me get up there?
But how many of us have had situations where our parents couldn't help us? What if our parents were giving us negative feedback? That gets internalized and strengthens that link. Our mind just files that away and goes, right, okay, so if something hard happens, basically, I suck and I can't do it. For example, me, I had an older brother. I absolutely adored him. I totally looked up to him. And he could do everything better than me because he was older. And he was kind of annoyed with me a lot because I was like his annoying little sister. So my brain from that experience took in this whole concept that I'm not as good as other people, I'm not good enough, I'm kind of a nuisance. So now when I experience things that are hard, my mind goes, meh, you're not good enough, meh, you're annoying, you suck. Those thoughts are totally automatic. That happens to all of us. Before we start thinking about it, we don't even notice that that's happening. The great thing about this is that once we notice that, we can actually start changing that, because that thought always comes from that place with no perspective. As soon as you notice it, all of a sudden, we have this perspective that we can bring to it. Literally, all you have to do is stop and notice, what am I thinking? Is that a thought that I actually want to think? Is that a thought that's helping me? Does that thought make me feel better, or does that thought make me feel worse? As soon as you can share that with someone else, or even write it down, someone else can help you see, wait a minute, no, you're not a total loser. Anyone in any circumstance can shift and change things, because those thoughts are not logical. And we can start choosing if we believe them or not. It doesn't have to be our reality. So next week, I talk to Tegan Nash, and she's super cool. She talks through her experience of negative thoughts.
Oh no, maybe I am. Maybe I'm not good enough.
That's it.
Bye-bye.